Hello friends, welcome to Better. So in this video we will learn about random variable. What is random variable? Where it is used? What are the examples of random variable? And lastly, what are the types of random variable that are covered in the video? So stay tuned with this video. So let us understand what is random variable. Random variable is firstly, as the name suggests, it is related with random experiment. Now what is random experiment? So random experiment is an experiment that is having unpredicted outcomes. That means outcome of random experiment cannot be predicted. Outcome of experiment cannot be cannot be predicted in advance. Flipping a coin is the best example of random experiment. Now let us write over here. What is an best example? Example is flipping a coin. When you flip a coin, there is outcome, and that outcome is either head or tail. You cannot predict that whether there is head or tail. If the coin is fair, it is provided that the coin is fair. Now, when we talk about experiment, whenever there is an experiment, always there is outcome. So, whenever there is experiment, there is outcome. Now, what is job of random variable? Random variable quantifies the outcome of random experiment. So, if we want to quantify the outcome of random experiment, the term random variable comes into the picture. So, what is the definition of random variable? Random variable is the variable that quantifies outcome of a random experiment. We may also say that random variable is a function that assigns real value to random experiment outcomes. So random variable can also be said as function that assigns real value to outcomes of random experiment. So what is job of random variable? Random variable is having simple job of assigning real number to the outcome. Now as it assigns real number to the outcome of random experiment, how we can write it symbolically? Symbolically, random variable can be written as, let us assume as x is a random variable. What is domain of x? X will have domain of sample space. And what it assigns? It assigns real value. So here is symbolical representation of random variable, that is x is having domain of sample space and assigns real value to the outcome. Again, definition of random variable is that random variable is a variable that quantifies outcome of random experiment. Now let us go through the example of random variable so we can understand in better way. The first example is flipping a coin. When we flip a coin, what would be the sample space? Sample space is a combination of all possible combination of outcomes. So when we flipping a coin, The outcomes are either head or tail. So we cannot quantify the number of outcomes. We cannot find out the probability of any outcomes. So as the outcomes are not countable over here, so let us assign a variable that can count the number of outcomes. So let us define random variable x as number of head outcome. So what are the possible number of head in the outcome? It is very simple. Either it is 0 or it is 1. So now we can count the outcome of random experiment. Random experiment was flipping a coin. It is having two outcomes, either head or tail. And random experiment x, random variable x defined as number of head. So number of head is countable. So what x had done? X had simply assigned a function. Here it is function that had counted the outcome of random experiment. Let's take another example. Let us assume that there is a box and this box is having 5 number of green balls, 2 number of red balls and 3 number of black balls. And we are having experiment of drawing 2 balls at random. Now there are number of possible outcomes, but let us define random variable x as number of black balls. So what are the possible value of x? That could be either 0 ball in the drawn balls, it can be 1, it can be 2, or all the 3 balls drawn are black. So x is having countable number of outcomes, that means 0, 1, 2 and 3. Let us take another example. Yeah, another example is return achieved in stocks. Now let us define random variable x as percentage return. So x can take any value between 0 percentage to 100 percentage. That means x is defined as 0 greater than or equal to x, less than or equal to x, less than or equal to 100. So these are the range of random variable. Again, I have told you that what is symbolical representation of random variable? It is something like this: random variable x, which is in domain of sample space, and it assigns real number. Please note that it assigns real number, not natural number or not anything. It assigns real number to outcome of random experiment. Another key point that has to that has to be taken into mind while learning the examples is that here the outcomes are countable, value of x is countable, here it is also countable, but here you can see that the possible value of x cannot be counted. It is not counted. Please keep in mind, I will explain it to you. Based on that, there are types of random variable that will be understood in later slide. Now let us take few another examples. Flipping 2 coin. When you flip the 2 coin, what are the possible outcome? It is head tail, tail head, or head head, or tail tail. These are the possible number of outcomes. So if we define our random variable x as number of head, so what are the possible value of head? possible value of head is either it may have 0, it may have 1 head, it might have 2 head. So here in this random experiment, the random variable x is defined as random number of head while tossing 2 coins, and it is having possible value like 0, 1 and 2, and favorable cases are 1 head. Out of sample space, these are the favorable cases. 1 head, it is having 2 head. So out of sample space, there are three possible outcomes that is assigned with random variable. Or here it is 0 head. So there are two possible outcomes that is having 1 head, one possible outcome that is having 2 head, it is 2, and one possible outcome that is having 0 head. This example can also be uh, understood with number of 3 coins tossed here also, but here one thing is different. That means the number of possible head can be 0, either 1 or the 2, or it may be 3. So students, these are the examples of random variable. Now random variable are categorized in 2 types. So what are the types of random variable? The first type is discrete random variable, and the another type is continuous random variable. Now let us take definition of both the random variables. So discrete random variable is defined as random variable that is countable, and continuous random variable, that is the variable that is uncountable. So whenever there is an experiment that is having uncountable number of outcomes, we may say that it would be defined by continuous random variable. And whenever there is function that is having countable outcomes, it would be defined by discrete random variable. If we see our previous example, then in previous slide, here the outcomes are countable. Either it can be 0, it can be 1. In second example also outcomes are countable. But in third example, the outcome could be anything between 0 and 100. That means outcomes are not countable in nature. So what are the examples? Let us write the examples. Examples are flipping a coin. Sorry, let us write as flipping a fair coin. Drawing a ball. Selecting a student from class. There can be any number of examples. Selecting a student that is having fixed number of student, you may count it as 1 to 100. So these are the examples of random variable. Now what are the examples of a continuous random variable? These are the example of discrete random variable. Continuous random variable is having example like return in stock market, amount of rain, again note that there is nothing like discrete random variable is finite or continuous is infinite. It is not a definition. The key point is whether your random variable is countable. If it is countable, then you may write it as discrete random variable. If it is uncountable in nature, so their continuous random variable would be used. So discrete random variable and continuous random variable. Based on this, there are types of probability distribution that we will discuss in upcoming videos. Till that, thanks for watching the video. Stay tuned to Brutter. If you really like this video, then please do like, share, and subscribe the Blatter YouTube channel. We are also having one application that is available both in Play Store and App Store, from where you can find the step-by-step solution to the probabilities and statistics question. Please do visit our website. You may also visit our Instagram page, where you can find out the updates related to statistics and probability, and Blatter channel.